All right, everyone, so we're gonna work on our mastery final, and I started adding oil pastel to my image here, and I had already mixed and matched the color to represent this area here. So I'm gonna do this on another section. I think I'm gonna start this section right here. And prior to starting, I know that I have already mixed and matched these colors, so I already know that these 4 colors go into creating this color I need for my final. I have cleaned these off, probably not as well as I should. So every time you use these, you want to scribble them off, okay? And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be strategic about how I use these colors of oil pastel. I'm not just going to use them randomly and hope that I, at the end, somehow I create this color here. What I am going to do is I am going to put these in order from darkest to lightest, okay? So with these 4 colors, my darkest one is red, next darkest is pink, okay? Then I have my peach, and then I have my white, okay? So my white is my lightest color. So I have those in order, darkest to lightest, okay? Then when I apply them to my paper, I am going to add a layer of this as light as humanly possible, add another layer of this a little bit harder, layer of this a little bit harder, and so in the last layer, I'm gonna end up with my lightest color with really hard pressure. And that should help me adjust this color that I'm mixing, okay? So what I'm going to do is closest to the area where it is this dark red, again, this is my darkest color, I am using it super duper lightly, so as light as I possibly can. And I'm just gonna attempt to do an area that is small, so I'm not wasting our time. Okay, note I'm not adding this over the whole area because this whole area doesn't really need it. Okay, I'm just adding it where I see it for my darkest color. Okay, all right. Next, I'm gonna add my next one that's a little bit lighter. So I'm going to add this on top where I see it, and I'm gonna press just a smidge harder, not by a whole lot. And I'm gonna add this on top. So I'm increasing my pressure by the smallest amount. And again, I'm not taking this all the way to the top, because I know that the top is mostly this peach and this white color. All right. So I have something that looks like this. Okay. Then I'm gonna go ahead and add my next color. Okay, so I'm working my way lighter. And with my next color, I am going to add it a little bit harder than I did my pink. I'm also gonna extend it up to this area here. So I'm gonna press a little bit harder. Again, not by a whole lot. Just increasing the pressure. So at this point, it's starting to look a little bit more like oil pastel than Crayola crayon, because I'm increasing that pressure. And again, I'm bringing this peach color all the way up to the top, because that's kind of where I see it. Okay, now this last one, I'm gonna make sure I clean this off really well. This is my white. So with my white, I am going to press decently hard. And I can press as hard as I think I will need to kind of lock in and set this color, okay? And so I am gonna add it here, really hard pressure, and then I'm gonna blend it down here because it kind of gets darker here. So I'm gonna press really hard. And I can bring this down here if I need to. All right. And so this allows me to match this color here. Now this color here on this section actually has a little bit of yellow in it, okay? I could try and add that a little bit on top and then blend the white back in. I don't have that on hand right now, but this is actually pretty close to this color here, okay? So by adding these colors from darkest to lightest, so I'm ending with my lightest, and then small amount of pressure, a little bit harder than that, and the hardest pressure, it allows me to control the color I mix in order to match the colors within my design. This is a mastery criteria, and I want to see that you can match the colors in your design strategically, okay, by thinking about your underlayers, ending with the lighter color, okay, and mixing to match those colors you see in the final on your own piece.